Farming that improves rather than depletes. Farming that is holistic. Farming that is an evolution. Farming that is continually innovating. That's regenerative agriculture. That's what we practice here at Holston Valley Farm. So let's explore what that looks like then. Let's see some diversity in pasture. That is a key principle of regenerative agriculture. What you're looking at here is chicory. Chicory, huge protein, highly palatable, particularly sheep love it. And here is just a little oasis of chicory that we have planted. And you can see it is going to seed. It's been grazed several times now. In fact, we have got about 4 years grazing out of this little patch of chicory. I'm going to show you a couple of patches over the course of this video. You'll see within the chicory lots of diversity in pasture, even though this chicory here, there's native pasture, there's a bit of clover, there's a bit of plantain. I'll show you that as we move through. You'll also see just over here where we grazed heavily with horses and we just sprinkled some seed down. So here you'll see quite a mixture, not as dense with the chicory, but a splattering of other elements here and diversity just to improve the soil health. And here's a little clover seed, a little clover head here. Beautiful purple flower. If you've got bees, bees love them. Chicory's also got a little purple flower that I will show you too. And you'll just see that clover bouncing out. Now this comes from, clover in particular, comes from grazing effectively. So grazing management, another key principle of regenerative agriculture. When you have that, you are going to improve your soil health. When you improve your soil health, you're going to improve your pasture health. When you improve your pasture health, what do you know? Your animals are going to be healthier, happier, and you're going to increase your carrying capacity.
I've just put these ewes here. They're running with a little ram. Spot the ram. He's just a little baby ram. And this is some chicory that we found to be perennial, like seriously 4 years perennial. And look at them go for it. They just absolutely love it. Now I'll just show you the rest of this paddock. Okay, mid-March here in Gippsland, 40 mils perhaps since the end of January or so. This is a little wooded area, so nice shelter. There's a little bit of coverage in here. We don't graze this all that much. As you can see, we feed out sometimes when the animals are in here. But just a little oasis here, and they just love it. Mostly chicory. I'll just take you down and have a look. There's a lovely little flower specimen here as well. Hello, lovely. Here's a flower specimen here of the chicory. And then a great little specimen of a chicory crown. Great, a high protein content, very palatable as you can see, and incredibly perennial, like seriously perennial. If you manage it like Gary's been managing it here, I have to say I really can't take much responsibility apart from perhaps turning on a tap the odd time. For these, it's all Gaz. Years we've been getting grazes. This is probably the fourth graze we've had this year from this little patch. I know it's small, but gee, they enjoy it, particularly when they're faced with this. And this is where they've just come out of. So they just come out of that paddock over there, which is quite dry. I've been hard feeding them with some lucerne, and now they're really enjoying. I mean, some of them are quite enjoying the other grass as well, the native grasses, and there'll be a few little choice things for them. And look at them. They look like they're starving, poor things, but really, really loving and the ram too. Really loving that plantain. Oh, sorry, it's a chicory. Plantain's another good one, by the way. If I can find any, I'll show you what plantain looks like. It's much more common, and something that will just grow without any help, plantain. But this is the chicory. The sound of sheep munching.
And here we have some plantain, just to give you an idea of what that looks like. As I mentioned, this just generally grows without even you planting it, and a great diversity in your pasture. You can have a point of comparison. Here is the chicory before grazing. Have a look at the density here. Have a look at the diversity here and the lushness. And now,
And this is the chicory a few weeks on, post use, having a good time in here. So it's very, very different, isn't it? So what we're going to do now is just put some water on and give the rest of the chicory that was over there that I showed you the last time just a little bit of a drink. We've had a little bit of rain recently, a bit of a storm, but not quite enough to get that chicory really bouncing back. So we'll give that a bit of a drink. We'll move it over here, give it a little bit of a drink, and see how quickly it bounces back. Chicory, I've just done a podcast actually on chicory, so for the subscribers on the Sheep Show podcast. So if you wanted to find out more about chicory, you can get several years, it's perennial, several years out of it, particularly if you let it go to seed, and then it'll reseed, and particularly if you give it a bit of water, it bounces back pretty quickly, and rotationally graze, of course, to get it back. All we're just doing here is just using a garden hose, just a garden sprinkler. It is attached to a dam water pipe here, so very, very simple setup. Just able to sort of spot irrigate in little spots, and just gives a little bit of extra green here, a bit of an oasis here. This used to be a garlic patch that we planted out. We tried garlic for a couple of years just to see if it would be a good crop to grow, and we just found it was just a bit too much manual work for us. We prefer to get the sheep to do the work around here and the animals to do the work, and they're doing a very good job. And the chicory has just done really, really well in this little spot here. So yeah, I'll let you know how it bounces back and how quickly it bounces back after this little drink.
so mulch and compost is another key ingredient if you are going to look at regenerative agricultural principles. Here's what we've done with a particular strip here to just rejuvenate it. We've grazed it quite heavily with horses. As you can see, there's a big color difference between the left and the right. And then we have put down some thick compost. And this will help to feed the soil biology. This will help to increase the organisms in the soil and also rejuvenate this particular area of pasture so that we can hopefully increase productivity around here. It's also a bit of a trial site for us as well. So we try and apply as many regenerative agricultural principles as we can. I've showed you the cropping. Here we have some mulching, and we're trying to improve the soil health, key to regen ag.